Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cyber Knowledge Partners Cyber Shorts. I'm Linda Zecker here with my co-host, Catherine Mahalik. Now, we've done quite a few videos recently that I know you've all seen, or hopefully you've seen, and you know that we're writing books around cybersecurity and AI, fictionalized accounts under our nom de plumes of Claire and Elise. But we actually have a real business that's around supporting boards. And as we've been supporting boards, we've realized that there's really a void in small business. So we decided that we would start doing something for the small business world.
Yeah. And one of our most foundational tenets is to bridge that gap between technical, tactical, and strategic and business outcomes. And we've been doing that for boards. But as you said, we saw that void for small business. Many of them don't have the technical knowledge and kind of brush cybersecurity aside. So we saw that need and that void, and we decided to write a small business guide to cybersecurity. It's available paperback on Amazon, and you'll see those links later on in the video and as part of our postings. We thought it was really important and if you've worked with me in the last 30 some years of my career, you will know I am a fan of what I call block and tackle. And that means you take care of the foundations and you take care of the business. And this small business guide helps people not get overwhelmed with technical and all of the ISO standards and all the rest of that. How about some blocking and tackling that really set the foundation for a small business to be able to um, steel themselves and set up the protections for what they need for their businesses against cyber hackers and criminals.
Well, both of us have been in corporate America our whole lives, and I've spent a lot of times in, a lot of time in large corporate, organizations. And I really didn't have a lot of experience with small businesses until I was recently married. And my husband is a small business owner. So moving to a small town and living here along with and getting to know his business and a lot of the other small business people, it became really apparent to me that there's a lack of IT understanding, let alone cyber understanding or AI. I
Mhm.
mean, when I am considered the IT expert in the neighborhood and they're calling me in to set up the computers and set up their security and everything else, we're in trouble, honey. I mean, this is like we're in trouble. And so I think this book is really interesting in that it is a step-by-step handbook for those non-cyber experts. And that's what these people need because I mean, there's a lot of companies out there. This country is the foundation of this country is small business.
Small business.
And the majority of those small businesses, whether it's the mom and pop grocery store or it's the little retail store or whatever, or even the plumber supply store, whatever, they don't have IT experts. And so they
No,
need this information because they are vulnerable, especially when they're in a supply chain for a larger company.
correct. And think about some of the initiatives that we've seen in the companies where we've worked that talked about even the defense industrial base. And if you look at everybody thinks it's always just Lockheed. It's khaki, whoever, the big
Northrop
companies,
Grumman, yeah, Northrop Grumman,
Northrop
whomever.
Grumman,
Yeah,
right? That
yeah.
they're the ones, but they are foundationally supported. And a lot of their feed comes from these small businesses
Right.
who make a very particular part, who have a very particular expertise. And so I think it's critical for us to, as a community, to make sure that even if we are working for the larger companies, that we're supporting that defense industrial base if that's the business that you're in, or making sure that when you are working with small businesses, that you communicate with them, that you are supportive of them coming up with things that they need for cybersecurity. Or one of the places we're working with now is the Fairfax Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
And we're going to start going out to other counties and those chamber of commerces to say, hey, here's a tool that you can use for your small businesses. Because even if they're not part of that larger supply chain, they still need that blocking and tackling.
Yeah, to the point you made about suppliers, we have both been in the environment where we have seen the vulnerabilities that occur because of these small suppliers. And I've talked about schools and things like that, kind of ad nauseum. But I will tell you that the big school districts, they all have IT support. They all have that. The small school districts, one of the first things that are cut out of their budgets, they don't cut teachers because those are mandatory. What they do is they cut the infrastructure and they cut the people that are supporting the infrastructure. And it's those vulnerabilities, again, with those kids bringing systems home into your network. And if you're working at home, even in a large company that's getting into your network, into your data, this is serious stuff. And we have to constantly think about these are the vulnerabilities that we've spoken about that can really make a difference in companies.
Yeah. So we're really excited because it's now out. We hope that everybody goes to Amazon and orders a couple copies and passes them out to their, friends and family who and are working in a small business environment. And we're going to be, again, working with different chambers of commerce around the Washington, D.C. area to make sure that they understand that this resource is available to small businesses in our communities.
And just one last thought. Sometimes it's really hard to admit that you don't know something, and sometimes it's really hard to just admit that, hey, I'm just not on top of these things. I think this book and will give them people an opportunity to sort of get up to speed a little bit and not feel like they're just, lacking all this knowledge and afraid to have the conversation, because I think that's always part of it. I know I hate to have a conversation when I feel like I'm just, not aware of the topic very well. But I think the book is a great way to just sort of get up to speed and understand what the ins and outs of cybersecurity and AI are and the impact they can have on you and your company.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we hope that you will buy the book. And again, it's on Amazon and it's available today. And if you would like more information around how to keep your system secure, or if you would like to have a consultation around that as a small business, we'd be happy to do that for your business and or for groups of small businesses. I'm actually doing a little webinar, seminar kind of thing in the fall around cybersecurity and AI for small businesses. So we'd love to do that for you and your community. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone.